And we're back with some more oxygen not included on Badlands. And today we were about to get our first set of research back from our steam rockets, at which point we're going to go straight into petroleum rockets because God knows I really just do not like steam rockets. Our two rockets should be back shortly, and when they do, we can put their research modules to advantage. Straight to advantage. Yeah, perfect. That's even some nice synchronized landing. They've landed. That should drop out all the research modules. Perfect. And then the doors will close. And that is enough of that. You know what? We can... You know what? I might even let them pump all the gas out of there, because when I dismantle that... Yeah, who cares? Research-wise, we want to go straight down to here. We want to get these knocked out of the way. We want hydrocarbon combustion, solid fuel, and we want... Once we've got those two, we can go straight on for cryofuel and solid cargo. Well, solid cargo, then cryofuel. Well, all that research is going to be going on in the background. We've got a chunk of it done already, but once we get all of that done, we're going to need to start putting together an oxylite refinery. So I think I'm just going to throw together another Rodriguez. I mean, why not? I probably should have done this already instead of going with this setup up here, but I did enjoy doing that one. I don't think I'm going to leave that one there anyway. Oh yeah, for the cooling on this little system, these conveyor loaders will generate heat, but there's going to be water dropping out of this, which will eventually evaporate down here. And when it does evaporate, it will dissipate into the void of space, taking all its heat with it. That's where overflow water goes. So any water that overflows from our liquid tank will go up there. It's a silly little system, but I did enjoy putting it together. Down here, we're just going to throw together another Rodriguez. And actually, I saw Grind This Game using one of these. Yeah, the guy was doing a 100 dupe run, which 100 dupe challenge, which I really like the look of. I enjoyed watching him play through it, and I think I might do one of those in the future. I'd love to do a 100 dupe challenge and just see how quickly you can get to stability afterwards. Though I don't know if my computer would probably melt, but it'd be totally worth it. So this is the guts of the Rodriguez done already. We've got our gas pumps in, our electrolyzers in. That will be extracting our hydrogen. So, and that reminds me, I should get a gas bridge in there to siphon that off. But we're going to, we're not going to put that in straight away. Or, what? Yeah, we'll just not have that hooked up. A little bit of gas will get out at the start, but I am not going to worry. This will be where all our hydrogen goes across, and it will be a sort of a self-cooling little monstrosity. This whole thing is made out of steel. Everything is made out of steel. In fact, there was a wonderful comment by someone who said, I was, the basic implication was, why was I making all my fire poles out of stuff that was not steel? I mean, yeah. So there we go. We can replace all our fire poles with steel. Will it help with speed or movement? No, but yeah, it just feels like we're just stomping all over the map now and making fun of it. Oh, yeah, that felt horribly wrong. There, we've also got the one going all the way down to the oil biome as well. That's nice. And we almost forgot I have to do the one inside my base. Otherwise, we just would not be doing the all-out thing here. Oh, and there's a bit of a gap there, and there we go. Okay, I'm not replacing these ones. That's just a step too far. Actually, never mind. If we're going to do something, you might as well do it right. That's all of it done. All of the fire poles have now been replaced with steel. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to lie. That makes me feel a little bit dirty doing that. But, if you're going to commit to something, you might as well commit all the way. Once all of the ladder poles have been replaced... Oh, yeah, I think I missed one. There we go. Now all the... Damn it. Now all the ladder poles have been replaced with steel. It's okay. It's okay. We've still got 47 tons left. And don't worry, give it another 100 cycles. We'll have most of that steel back. And we'll convert all of the iron ore we're getting. We'll convert that into iron, which we can convert into more steel. This is actually going to be a positive process for us. We'll get 25% more steel out of it at the end of the day. We are just about ready to turn this one on. All we need to do is hook up the water and the power. Water, we're just going to chuck it right out of this tank. Ooh, water tank is full. The desalinator is now... Yeah, there's too much water in here for the desalinator to handle anymore. As in, all the desalinated water is just getting dumped into space because it's nowhere to go. Oops. Oh well. You know what? Well, we still get the salt out of it, so I suppose that's not the worst thing in the world. As for sand, we don't really need to worry about sand anymore. Not just the regolith that's sorting us out, but these poke shells. They produce an awful lot of sand. Half the polluted dirt they eat turns into sand. So, yeah, we've been doing quite well on the sand front. There's 22 tons of sand in there. They produce lots of sand. Solves all your sand problems and your steel problems. How's our water looking? Water's looking nice. Okay, let's hook up the power here. First off, we'll hook up these bottom ones. The reason being... Oop. I don't want to pump any of the gases out of the top just yet. I probably shouldn't hook up the water just yet, eh? We'll dump out a bunch of this oxygen anyway. We'll probably put these on really low amounts if the thing's above that. And why is there no power to those? I thought I hooked up power to both ends. Ah, there we go. Yeah. We'll hopefully get a little bit of gas pressure up the top, and then when we do, we'll turn on the top gas pump. Yeah, this was taking too long. I've just turned on the gas pump. I'm going to let them rip. I was trying to be subtle about this. There's no point. We've got gas tanks hooked up. If there's any problems, I'll just throw on some high-pressure gas vents here. We'll dump a bunch of the gases out, but one way or the other, I want to get this sorted and done with. All right, we're just about done. There's only a tiny little bit of oxygen left in there. Once that's vacuumed out, come on, there we go. Now we can get rid of these high-pressure gas vents. This was probably one of my sloppier starts. With those gone, we can now hook this up to an oxylite refinery, which I still haven't produced yet. Next on the agenda, oxylite refinery. Oh, and while we're at it, we can now hook these two up. You, come here. Boom. Alright, so, and yeah, of course there's going to be a big blob of oxygen in there. Fine, I can open this up and fix the damage. Which one's going to get hurt? Is it this one? Probably going to be the first one. Tis but a scratch. We'll just go in there and have a quick repair, then we can close this back up again. This room is going to get very, very hot as the game drags on. The hydrogen in this, you know what, I'm not even going to bother trying to save the hydrogen. We're just going to destroy it. In here, what have we got? A bunch of, yeah, you know what, they can all go. We'll get rid of a lot of them. There'll be some gases escaping that I wouldn't want lying around the place, but they'll float up to the top and we can siphon them off later. For now, it's time to get around to doing an oxylite refinery, and I really don't want to do it up here. If I do it up here, just meet the rockets, it's going to get toasted. Let's just do one down here. It should be fairly simple. For this oxylite refinery, we are going with very simple. We're going to stick down 2 oxylite refineries. We are going to have a smart storage bin in the middle so that we can keep track of how much oxylite we've got. Once we've got about 10 tons of this stuff, we'll just turn off both the oxylite refineries. Yeah, we're going to run 2 of them. We're going to have a smart storage bin here for containing a little bit of gold. We're going to set this to hold 500 kilos of gold. We'll set it to high priority right now, say 7. That should mean someone will come along and fill it up fairly quickly. Once it's full up, we'll just drop the priority way down to something like 3, where no one will really care about it unless everything else is done. That should take care of most of the oxylite. However, we're still going to have to hook up power and oxygen. And these things are, let's just say they're hogs. You know what? We will use this oxygen over here for one of them. And we will use the oxygen from over here for the second one. Yeah, that should do. All right, ventilation is, well, most of the ventilation is hooked up. That's starting to pump out oxygen. For the power itself, well, I did have 2 transformers I just plugged in to get the oxygen setup system bootstrapped, so I just diverted them so that each one is running, well, one or the other. They pull 1.2 kilowatts, so they're pretty energy expensive. However, yeah, they're going to start churning out oxylite now. Of course, the surrounding atmosphere is probably going to eat some of it, but we don't really care. We'll eventually pressurize the place. You know what? If we're going to pressurize the place, we might as well do it ourselves. What if we put in a few bridges here? This is one little thing I do quite a lot of. You just put in a quick bridge, say there, and oh, this is terrible timing. Say another one there. All right, here's what's going to happen. The oxygen will come up here and try and get into the oxylite machine. If it can't, it will overflow this area and get dumped out this gas vent. Same this end. If the oxygen can't get into the oxylite refinery, it'll get dumped out this gas vent. Great thing about this little sucker is, oh, 1 second before I do that. And the great thing about these is they only consume 600 grams of oxygen per second, so an extra 400 grams a second can get dumped out there. That should pressurize the area, so hopefully our oxylite doesn't off-gas too much. And you may be wondering why we have 10 tons of oxylite already. Well, that's to do with... Where are they? Yeah, these puffs have been all over the place for ages, so they've been dropping little bits of oxylite, and I've been collecting it down here in our liquid tank in these storage containers. So we do have quite a bit of oxylite just lying about the place that we've been collecting for God knows how long. That should get our first few rockets launched. And how are we doing on blueprints? Nope, none of them. I'm just holding it until we get another rancher or 2. Which reminds me, how are our skills people doing? 19 athletics. You know what? A little bit longer and they'll be ready to be released. I like to make sure they're fully capable before I let them loose on the base. Yeah, but I think that's that. Do we have enough gas backed up in the system? Okay, I think there's enough hydrogen there to make sure that that won't fall over, though you never know, do you? But I think that's the guts of our oxylite system finished. However, to run these petroleum rockets that we've got built up here, we're going to need some petroleum. Now, I do have enough to maybe fuel a few of them for a wee bit. We can say get rid of those, and we can... Nope. Nope, 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 nope. We can, yeah, I almost deleted the back wall. We can use this petroleum to fill up maybe 1 or 2 rockets for a bit. But we're going to need no more petroleum after that, which means, yeah, it might be a time to maybe, just maybe, get an oil refinery up and running. I was thinking about putting together a petroleum boiler, but I've done so many of them. You know what? We'll just do a plain old oil refinery. We'll dump the natural gas into the oil biome and not really care about it. And then we can pump the petroleum all the way from the bottom of the map all the way to the top. Why not? That's assuming we haven't maxed out our power, which reminds me. How is our power grid looking? Well, our batteries are full. I've been thinking about this, why we have enough power, because realistically we shouldn't. Considering the amount of stuff we're running, why do we still have power? I think it might be to do with the metal refineries. Every time the metal refineries go off and make steel, they produce so much heat, it actually pays for themselves and then some. They're power positive process making steel. So I think in a roundabout way, the poke shells are generating us power. Yeah, that turns out that's a thing you can do. Well, next up, put a bit of an oil refinery, say, down here, and then start converting all of that crude oil into petroleum and sending it up to the top of the map for petroleum rockets. All right, all planned out. We have this liquid pump down here, this steel liquid pump that we've had here for God knows how long. That's going to be hooked up to this heavy watt conductive wire I brought down here, and that's going to pump crude oil all the way up here to where we used to have our old oil refinery, which I've now replaced with another steel oil refinery. That's going to dump liquid into these 2 tanks, or petroleum back into these 2 tanks. And if the liquid tank overflows, or gets to a certain percentage, we'll use a little bit of automation to turn off the oil refinery for a while. And that will go all the way up here. We're going to have an insulated pipe running from the bottom of the map all the way to the top made out of obsidian. You know what, let's pause it because this is a long run. It goes all the way up, hops a bridge, keeps going, hops 2 more bridges, the 3rd bridge goes on up here, and we're going to feed it into the petroleum rockets. Though I think, just to speed things along and so that we can get these rockets launched, we're going to do that and get all of those finished. Perfect. And I need to decide where we're sending these rockets. We're going to send them to the closest planets. So, oh, that reminds me, I should keep researching. Gotta keep analyzing objects. We're going to send them to the oily asteroid and the metallic. I didn't know you get oily asteroids in the 2nd ring. I thought, I knew they changed, but I thought it was only 1 asteroid you got in the 2nd ring and it was always on metallic. Oh well, looks like we're going to these 2, so 2 20k ring planets coming right up. A few quick tips on filling the rockets. When you put in the solid oxidizers, build them from the ladders. If you try and put in a gantry, the moment it's put up, it'll be set to the max, which is 2,700 kilos, and it will immediately try to fill it with oxidizer if you have it lying around. I like to build it with the ladders first, set it down to whatever preference I need, or set it to 0 even, and then build in my gantry so that I can put in the oxylite afterwards. For the fuel tanks, liquid fuel tanks, probably a good idea to do the same, otherwise you accidentally end up overfilling them and it's a pain in the butt to fix. And then, yeah, okay, so that's 1 rocket full of petroleum, and now we'll get the oxidizer into them, and I think we'll be good to go. There you. Build those up. Oh, wait, yeah, no, I should deconstruct those steam engines. Yeah, we have to replace those with petroleum engines. This is not the first time I've made this mistake. Usually though, it's switching from petroleum to hydrogen that gets me. Despite our careful preparations and setting it to 569, somehow we ended up with 2,700 kilos of oxylite in there. Thank you, game. Thank you so much for that. That's just wonderful. Yeah, I'm going to save the game and reload, and hopefully this can get reset. That's just an annoyance. We've just lost a lot of oxylite. Though on the bright side, we have... How much we got down here? Yeah, we got a lot of oxylite in those containers. You know what? Let's maybe get another oxylite container going on. Is there one in range? No, I can't. Yeah, I'll make another oxylite container down here, and hopefully after the reload, we can take that stuff out and quickly save it downstairs before it evaporates into space. All right, we've got the oxylite out. I think we got most of it back into the storage container. Yeah, we're fine. 11.6 tons. I think we got most of it. But with all that done, it's time to launch the rockets. Now, I'm very lazy about these things. I could make more permanent facilities, but I think we're only going to launch these rockets about 4 or 5 times. Well, since we're launching them in batches of 2 at a time, that should cut down an awful lot on the complications. We'll just stick a couple of pilots in here, and we're going to launch them off on their merry way. All right, I think our rockets are just about ready to go. We've got their locations picked, everything's sorted. You have to reassign them to the space scanners because once you deconstruct the command capsule, it changes the name on the rocket. But these are only temporary rockets anyway. Another thing as well is I went back and looked at my old tutorial because someone pointed it out. Yeah, I made a mistake here. I should have made these rockets instead of putting 6 research modules, I should have put on 7. That way I could have completely and very easily retrofitted these rockets to turn them into petroleum. Just one of those stupid mistakes you make. You also open. And I think we can now get around to launching a couple of petroleum rockets in tandem, because that's always a fun project to do. Wait, never mind. Camilla didn't get on board. Looks like we're not going to be doing tandem rockets, unfortunately. It's going to be one rocket launching while we wait for Camilla to show up. Paging Camilla. Camilla, please show up with your rocket anytime now. Would be really nice. Thank you for joining us, Camilla. About damn time. We'll open the door and we'll send you on your merry way. Have we got star map still going? Telescope is idle. You can really churn through the planets quite quickly. It's just the later ones that get much trickier as the game goes on. Alright, perfect. Time to get you out of here. You're not going to be in sync with the other rocket, but that's just the way it is. Now, for the first 2 rockets, or the first 2 locations, the first one we got, bugger all, that's Abyssalite. We got Abyssalite as an extra thing. No one cares. Carbon asteroid, though, is looking good. We've got trace amounts of fullerene and 10% isoresin. Yeah, the moment we get cargo bays, we are totally harvesting that. Just, yes, definitely all the way. Off you go, get out of here. Good job, Camilla. Good job. On the waterfront, we've been doing really, really, really well. This desalinator, I really like it. It's generating as power, and it's just the desalination is just a side project, which I kind of quite like about it. I've been doing some research on how to harvest these automatically using waterfalls, though I think I may have placed the trees too close together to do it. I'm still doing some research on it, but I don't think it's possible with how close I've placed the trees. There was a wonderful link someone gave me. I'll actually link it in the description as well. You can have a look yourself. Just a fun way of harvesting trees. Saltwater-wise, we are swimming in this stuff. Oh my god, we've got so much of it around. This down here, I can't go through it fast enough, and that is not quite full enough yet. But soon I'm going to get started on that rust melter. I really got to do one, but it's probably going to be another episode or 2. The moment I get some time off, I really do want to get to stress test it. This is where all our oil is going to be refined, and we don't really care about the natural gas, to be honest. It's going to happen. And what was the other stuff? Oh, yes, that was it. Lighting. Yeah. Putting a light above or just beside here, anywhere that... It doesn't really matter if it's beside or on top of, just so long as you get light going here on this tile. That means the dupe is working in a lit workspace, which gives him a 50% work speed buff, which is how we're just about able to keep up with all of the food cooking going on. If I hire any more dupes, I'm going to need to get in a second cook. It's kind of getting out of control. For increasing our ranching capabilities, I've turned off this Dreco ranch, as in there's no more critters going to be dropped off here. We'll keep ranching the 8 that are there, but once they die of natural causes, which, okay, will take about 100 cycles or so, but once they're gone, we're just going to decommission that ranch. We have so much plastic. We have so much of everything we need on that front. 700 tons of plastic. How much reed fiber have we got? 634 reed fiber. I think we're going to be good for a while. Yep, I'm just going to decommission that, and that'll free up about 8 critters worth of ranching. Also, at the same time, we have 2 new dupes coming online. We have, where is it? Trevor down here. Trevor is going to be a new rancher as well to help us out with our ranching deficit. And we've got Kay down here as well. They shall also be helping us out of a ranching deficit. With 2 extra ranchers and decommissioning 1, we should finally be able to groom all these slicksters. And hopefully our calories will start going up by more than just a little bit. What are we on barbecue? We got 5,000 calories. We're still living on frost buns. We're all wild harvesting from sweet wheat. That's all that's just keeping us going. Wow, this ravaging hunger stuff is really quite tricky to deal with. Oh, that reminds me. There's a whole bunch of meat just running around here that I should probably get rid of. They're glum, they're hungry. Yeah, they're just tasty. We'll get rid of those. I should probably have made some automated system for getting rid of them. I wasn't bothered. Anyway, I think we're going to cut that out there for today. For the time being, we are just waiting on our petroleum rockets to return. Once they come back, we'll be able to get some research. And oh, damn it, I left the door open again. Every time. Yeah, when you launch the rockets, don't forget to close the door behind you. Yeah, otherwise you come back and you find that your entire area is covered in a whole bunch of regolith. Yep, there, right there. All right, get rid of that little bit of regolith that's started over there. Now, I should probably throw in some solar. We do have the capacity to do it quite easily. Just we could rip this out across here, put in several of these, and do solar. But I sort of wanted to do the big scanner setup over here. I'll have a bit of a think about that off screen. But I think we're going to do a big deep scanner section here that's going to have six scanners, one below the other, just to get us max scanner coverage. I've never bothered going max scanner coverage before. I've never seen it as necessary, but we're trying a lot of new things. If I have one takeaway from this playthrough, though, is poke shells. I'm definitely always ranching poke shells in the future if they're an option. Just the ability to just throw steel at every single problem it's so nice. Normally you're conserving steel everywhere. Here, no, everything is built out of steel. This entire little oxygen setup here, that is made entirely out of steel. No one cares. Everything is made of steel, and you just don't care. It feels so wonderful. If that's one takeaway you take from this entire playthrough, ranch and poke shells, they're wonderful. Anyway, I hope you're all staying safe out there, and good luck.